Welcome to the first ever Roketo Mintbase technical workshop Encoder has ever hosted. It feels really good to say that. And I hope it's going to be an exciting event. And I know Olga's here. Would you like to say a couple of words before the event?
Hi, everybody. We are today with George, and he will share his screen. Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm very excited to be here and excited to present now, and hope you are all excited as well as me. So you see my background. I decided not to change it. So I'm originally from Russia, and right now I'm here. So this is like original, Russian carpets on the background. So today I'm presenting with George. So my name is Olga, and I'm part of Roketo team, and I'm in charge of business development and partnership management here in the project. And George, so today with George, we will tell you more about Roketo and how it could be used. So George is a front-end developer in Roketo. So the story of Roketo, please next slide, began this last autumn. So we were a Metadata Grand Prize winner, and this is how Roketo was launched. And actually in October, it was already on the mainnet. So we really believe that Roketo emerged to disrupt the financial sphere through real-time streaming solution. And yeah, actually, that's why we are very excited to be part of hackathon, because we invite you guys to think creatively and come up with solutions how Roketo could use, because we are sure that even we don't know for now all the user cases how it could be implemented. And our goal today is to explain you what is Roketo and how you can use it in your project and inspire you, to come up with creative solutions. So I pass the word to George, and he will tell you more about Roketo.
Hi, everyone. My name is George, and I think the first thing to do is to show you what Roketo, like a little overview for everyone. This is our website for which you can travel to our testnet application. And here all the magic happens. You can create a stream. Basically, the stream means that money that you put into the stream is not transferred immediately to the other party, but during a period of time. And every second, every little tick of time, a small fraction of your money are transferred to other party. And so let's create our first stream. We pass a receiver address. It's someone who will receive the funds. We support NEP tokens. On testnet, there's only one Roketo token and NEAR. So we're gonna send one NEAR unlocked over one day. We can write some comment like, wow, it's cool, and create a stream. We sign the transaction via the NEAR wallet, and after a little time, we should be redirected back to the Roketo website, and our stream has been created. And we see the time ticking. So there are 23 hours left, and it's already streamed a small fraction of the NEAR sent. We can view the stream, see the actions below, and overall info about it. So basically, that's it. You can create a stream, and you can receive a stream. Here I see one stream that's going into my account, and two I'm sending to some other people. And now we're switching to a more technical part. It's gonna help you to build something on the Roketo. Basically, everything you need is one function, which is provided in this repo. The link will be provided, I hope, in the... We need to provide a link somehow, so you guys can fork it, you guys can explore it, and build something on top of it. So how to create a stream? You pass 5 parameters or less. You actually need to pass only 4. The first one, as I said, is someone you want to pay. So in this example, we are paying Netflix 1,000 octaneers with the speed of 1 octaneer per tick. We send a NEAR in this example, but you also can send other NEP 1-for-1 tokens, and Roketo supports few of them. You also can pass some description, which you can use to maybe set up some hooks or pass arbitrary data. It's limited to 150 chars, but it may be enough for you to pass something useful and invent something interesting. So how to start building? We have 2 important links for you. First one is overall Roketo contract information. It's all located in our repository. So here, all the methods you may use, all the data types, and a lot of type definitions for Rust. So if you're going to make some cross-contract calls, or if you're going to create some interesting solutions between them to connect multiple contracts, you better stick to this documentation and check us out. If you're a more front-end guy like me, for example, you have this useful link here, Roketo API.TypeScript, and all the same type bindings is defined here. We don't have yet an SDK for you to download or install it via NPM, but I want you to just fork this repository and copy paste everything you need. It has a lot of helpers. It has all type definitions. It has many useful functions. And here's 3 lines, or maybe like 5, about how to start using it. You just import init Roketo from Roketo, init it. This is your NEAR provider and your wallet connection. And there you go. You can use all the methods defined inside. So there are 4 basic operations with streams, and it's enough for you to create any logic you want. So first one, after you create the stream, of course, you can stop it. It may happen if you're an employee which you are paying via stream, say that he wanna take a day off, unpaid day off, so you need to stop paying him a salary. You just call Roketo pulse stream, providing a stream ID, and gone. No money will flow from that moment. This important thing that this method can be called both by owner and receiver of the stream. So if employee wants to fire himself, for example, he can stop his stream of salary, but he will not be able to start it again. So starting stream only allowed by owners. Also, there is a deposit to stream. You may add more funds to a stream already, and anyone can do it. So if you have some kind of a crowdfunding stream, you're paying as a crowd for some huge resource, you can use it for donation, or maybe you can use it for raising some funds for your startup. And a stop stream, which it kind of resembles the pulse stream, but it has a huge difference because it's irreversible. So after you stop a stream, it's destroyed and you cannot do anything with it again. Roketo supports NEP 1-for-1 tokens, but they are whitelisted, and we want you to really go out with them, try it out, and maybe invent something crazy, because there is where real potential lies. You can mint your Roketo token. We have 1 testnet token, which is available in Roketo on testnet. And here's an instruction link about how to use it and how to mint your token. So you may get really rich in Roketo tokens on testnet if you want. There is no restriction on minting anyway. And if you want to think something with your own token, you may reach us out on Discord, and we'll whitelist your testnet token. So you may think about any ideas. It's possible. Just write to me or someone else from Roketo team. So scary math arise here. When creating a stream, you need to calculate one important parameter. It's the speed of tokens. It means how many tokens are transferred to a third party per tick. Important things to know is that tick is 1 nanosecond. So 1 nanosecond equals 1 tick. And if you, for example, want to send 1 NEAR over 1 day, 2 hours and 50 minutes, we calculate it this way. First of all, we find out our total amount is equal to 1 NEAR multiplied by 1 to 10 to the power of 18, which means 1 NEAR because NEAR has 18 decimal places. After that, we think, what is the period we want to take? And it's, for example, 1 day, 2 hours and 50 minutes. We combine all the time periods into whatever is more convenient for you. I'm using seconds in this example. So I multiply the number of days I have, seconds in a day, and combine it all together, these minutes, hours, and I'm receiving the total amount of seconds in the whole period. And then I really suggest everyone using big number library for JavaScript, so you avoid strange bugs, which may happen if you use big numbers, which is a case when you're using DeFi finance, because tokens are used in integers, they have really big decimal places. So we take this all total amount and divide it by duration in seconds, multiplied by seconds to nanoseconds, which results in nanoseconds amount, and we get our tokens per tick. And one important thing to note that you should not reach tokens per tick less than 1. So if you send less than 1 amount, it won't work. So you cannot really create small streams. How to use these streams? You just need 2 lines, 2 methods. First of all, you call get account of a Roketo API and get any one account. It's not required that you watching streams of your own account. You can view someone else because all streams are public and viewable by anyone. And after that, you take a specific field of account, dynamic outputs. There are also static outputs and others, but dynamic outputs is just all your streams that coming out of your account. You get that ID and pass it to get a stream. You cannot get all the streams in one request because it would load RPC nodes. So we're using 2-way. You first accessing the IDs and then getting stream objects. Stream objects looks like this. And there is, of course, the ID of the stream, which is most important. Ticker, which means what token is being transferred every tick. Owner. So here is someone paying Netflix for the services. Timestamp created. Balance, which means how many tokens are left on the stream and has not been withdrawn. If balance reaches 0 at some point, then stream dies as it cannot be renewed again. And of course, speed of the stream and status. All these fields are explained in the documentation inside a repository I gave you before. So I really encourage you to take a look at everything here and get yourself familiar before building. Suppose you have a really big amount of streams, like millions of them coming into your account and coming out of your account. And you might think it's kind of hard to take all your money together again and withdraw them somewhere. But that's not the case with Roketo, because all you need is just one line, Roketo update account, which will transfer all your funds to your NEAR wallet, all tokens and all NEAR tokens. So everything you have in streams. And it's kind of convenient because you don't need to think about streams as a streams. You just think about it as a balance in your account. All the math is done under the hood on the contract, which gets you really easy to use. So what about the use cases? And this is the part we really want all you guys from Hackathon to go crazy, because there's where we want to see some crazy ideas, crazy solutions. And for example, just to give you some path to think. There is what comes to our minds. The first one is salary framework. So you may set up a DAO and pay every council some salary by Roketo. And if they ever leave the counselor role, the stream stops being destroyed. And if someone comes and is a new counselor, the new stream is created. Second option is DAO vesting solution, because they may use a stream as a vesting option to give someone a share in the company or give someone some share of the tokens as a token and lock it for a different amount, like maybe a few years. And if we ever leave the company, it just stops the stream and not tokens is received another party, but everything he worked before is transferred. Subscription service is the most interesting for me, I think, because it's if you could really pay Netflix via stream, or maybe access some private newsletter, some private content, some maybe donate someone as patron or YouTube donations, and it can be done via streams. And until you, as long as you have an active stream of money flowing into his account, they give you some access to something like anything. And you can even divide it by levels. So if you send 1 token, you receive one kind of content. But if you send 1,000 tokens, you receive next level of content for bigger funds or something. And really interesting for me is the continuous token distribution. You may set up a contract of a token and accept any streams from Roketo and like distribute 100 tokens every week or any amount you want, and distributing them in such a way that you combine all the streams sum together and divided 100 tokens by that amount and distribute them equally weighted by sum received in tokens. And whatever ever you think of, any ideas, here we are to think more about how you can use Roketo. So if you have ever questions for me or for Olga, you can use hashtag Roketo on Encode channel, and we'll try to answer you anything. Thank you very much. And I think Olga is taking a word again to say about bounties.
Yeah, thank you, George. Yeah, if you have also any questions, you can write in chat and George will answer it while I will tell a little bit more. So I need my presentation back, please. So George told you some examples how Roketo could be used and with what kind of ideas you can come up with, but this is kind of more like official slide, as we usually say how Roketo could be used. So right now we have more than 6,000 streams created, and one of the
has she cut out there?
Oh, we're missing network from Olga.
We'll wait for her to come back. I don't know if you've got anything to say, George, maybe to add to that.
Yeah, I can. So there's a more of ideas we came up before Hackathon. They're like more realistic and maybe complex, but it's all the direction you can explore Roketo, how to use. And we usually demonstrate this one. So and also I didn't mention the GameFi direction because maybe some of you ever played the cookie clicker or something like this, games where you receive a constant flow of in-game currency. So Roketo can be perfectly used for that too, and many ideas can arrange from here.
So there will also have it could be used for grant programs and for vesting. So this is already what we have, but as George said, we don't want you to maybe see these and use these options or these ways how Roketo could be. So if you come up with something crazy, something new, it would be even better, so it would be great to see these ideas. Can you switch to the next slide? So yeah, actually, if we speak about Roketo challenge, so we have 3 prizes. And in order to participate in the challenge, you need to use Roketo protocol in your product and create at least 1 stream in the testnet. So it's quite, like vast task. And we don't want to make it we don't want to narrow it down, because as I said, we just want to give you this freedom of creativity and possible solutions. Yeah, that's actually end of our presentation. If you switch to the last slides, there would be some links, and we share it in Discord. Right now you have channels of all challenges, and there is a channel of Roketo. So we'll send this link here in the chat and to Discord. Yeah, and if you have any questions, just if we have time, we can answer right now. We can answer them in Discord. So Jake say is
we have time now, and what we're going to do in the Discord as well is create a Roketo challenge kind of handle. Just so if there's any questions regarding the Roketo challenge, you can just ask straight in there, and the Roketo will be able to answer for you. But yeah, if you've got questions now for the challenge, please shoot away. We have got a bit of time. So there's a question in the chat, if you don't mind looking at it.
Okay, chat. Yeah, about commissions, I see questions, important one. Everything about commissions is done under the hood inside the library. I provided in GitHub and Roketo in code. You don't need to think much about them. We have a fixed commission of which is described via DAO. So we have a Roketo DAO, and all these parameters are set through it. And there is a special endpoint called status, Roketo status, which returns everything about these commissions. And we take percentage commissions on tokens and a fixed commission on NEAR. It's about 0.001 NEAR maybe. So you don't need to calculate them yourself.
And then Solomon's asked, how does mass payouts work?
So mass payouts work, if I understood the question right, you're talking about withdrawing from multiple streams. It works that way, that we have an account. It's one function of update account. And after you call it, smart contracts transfer all your streams. He processes previous timestamp, current timestamp, and finds the difference in the amounts that have been transferred through that period, and combines them all, and it paid out to your NEAR account, to the receiver of the stream. I'm answering to Peter Gaspar.
Yeah.
It's not, contract has not been yet audited. Contract in the version as it is a version from the hackathon. We mainly rewritten it, made it shine and stuff, but we're at the moment creating a version 2 of Roketo, which will be audited and have many improvements, many new features, and unlimited NAP token support, and many things to come. But right now it's not audited in a hackathon stage, and we want to use it as it is.
Perfect. George, Olga, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. We really appreciate it. Feel free to stick on for the Mintbase presentation by Nate, the co-founder of Mintbase. But also feel free to pop off if you got things to do. But we really appreciate it, and it's been such a treat for us all to have Roketo involved in the hackathon. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, perfect. Cheers, thank you. Okay. So our next kind of technical workshop is Mintbase. The co-founder Nate has kind of offered to run the workshop, which is just a great I think it's a privilege for us all to kind of have you here running a workshop. Not often do we get a co-founder running a workshop, so I think we're all really intrigued for what you got to say. So over to you, Nate.
So first and foremost, super excited to be on the NEAR ecosystem. I've been developing since 2007, almost every day since then. And right now, if we look at the state of where the world's at and which chain we can pick and all these different things, I kind of look at anything that's an EVM like XDAI, AVA, Polygon, Ethereum, Layer 1, and all these different bits. In my brain, I kind of see them as being PHP. They're here, they exist, it's never going to go away. But I think in about 3 years' time, the whole world's going to start getting the PHP vibes, where it's just something that we don't want to write in. But that's going to take a bit of time to really configure. So what's really important to understand when we're understanding what Mintbase is what is an account on NEAR? It is a human, it could be a DAO, it could be a company, it could be a nonprofit, it could be all sorts of stuff. Our system's really unique. We've pretty much built the same system since we've built the first piece on the EVM back in 2000, 3 years ago. So we were on Ethereum in 2018, and all the different platforms built their systems in the same way. OpenSea, Rarible, and it was this whole like, hey, you deploy your own store is your own NFT smart contract, and that's how it worked. But this was about $2 to do at one point, and then it turned into $200, and then it turned into $2,000, and now it's like $10,000. So everyone deploying their own smart contract is kind of out of the question on any other chain. And NEAR, it's actually quite affordable. I think it's like $50 at this point. So you deploy your own smart contract. Essentially, this is your own API. You can look at a smart contract as just a bunch of functions, but instead of the API living on a server, it lives in the chain, and we can interact with this thing. So you deploy it, you add your mentors to your contract, and every single item or thing can get split between 25 humans on the royalty field and 25 split revenues. These are the single one-time bits. We believe the future is the niche utility markets. And as of today, we're almost hitting 1,000 deployed stores on the NEAR ecosystem. So 998, getting close. So 998 stores. So let's see, how the heck do these stores work, and how does it work for developers, and how can you interact with these as well? So what we can do is we can hop in here, can murder all these other little bits. So if you go into Mintbase, the most important thing to note is this guy. So we have not only mainnet, but we've also got testnet, and we have our old school platform. You can always click Ethereum and travel back in time and see a system that I haven't updated. On our Ethereum side, we still actually have 1,100 deployed stores on that system. So now they're kind of fighting with each other. We were ones that kind of pioneered the graph protocol. We pioneered crypto voxels. We pioneered ticketing systems. It's just old school stuff. We're basically the first in everything. We're the first ones to run Arweave back in the day, and now we're at it again. Okay, so let's go back away from Ethereum. Again, my brain, everyone's all excited about Ethereum. My brain looks at it and says PHP. It's, as a developer, like we always want to like develop in the most efficient next forward thing, right? You have to think like 3 years in the future, because it takes a year to build something, and it takes a year for everyone else to catch up. And so luckily, if you've made it here, you're on the right side. So okay, so let's go to testnet. So right now, I just put a little testnet in front of Mintbase. Let's go into the resources. I can hit developers. So this is a really nice little spot. You can copy this. So what Mintbase has is we can kind of split us up in the developer world into two different worlds. We have our indexer, and we have Mintbase JS. So basically, if you want to get any read data, this is, hey, I made a transaction happen, move NFT from A to B. That all gets recorded on our indexer, and I'll show you how that works. Mintbase JS, this is, I want to make a transaction happen. I want to actually move NFT from A to B. That's when you do this. So any transaction you do on our interface, whether you're deploying stores or minting or making offers or doing auctions or whatever it is you want to do, we're using Mintbase JS. So if we can do it, then Mintbase JS can do it. That means you guys can do it as well. Obviously, you don't even need Mintbase JS if you want to dive directly in contact directly with the smart contract. That's also possible, but our goal is to just make it easier. Okay, so you can see it's testnet. If I switch over to mainnet, the URL will change to mainnet. I'm going to stick on testnet just to show you stuff. So why is testnet neat? Every time you create a NEAR account, that gives you 200 testnet NEAR, so you don't have to spend anyone's money. So you can do this. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open this URL. This is going to open up to this little thing. We just stick that little endpoint in there. and you get this really nice big old list of everything that we do. So whatever you do on Mintbase can all be done here. So we need to kind of understand our, let's go into docs. Let's understand the data model before we jump into anything further. So if we go into getting started in our docs, data model, it's pretty simple. Store, thing, token. Our entire system runs off of this. It's ran off of this on our Ethereum side, and it's running off of this. The store is your smart contract. A thing is kind of the type of the NFT, and token is the individual NFT. So let's say you have a stadium. So we're going to deploy a store. And once you deploy that store, you can mint things, and then you can have several tokens that get pegged to that thing. So let's say you have VIP section. This is one thing. The blue is the thing. Each individual seat is your individual NFT that gets pegged to that. So here's one section. Here's the nosebleeds. You can kind of define the nosebleeds as being the average or similar attributes to it. And of course, this works with all the other bits. So let's go into store. So if we come in here, store where let's say name equals I don't know, pop. I don't think that there's a store named pop yet. It's possible. Okay, so we got an empty array. So we have no store named pop. I'm gonna come into our testnet. I'm gonna go hit create. I'm gonna switch to a different account. Let's go into, I don't know, why not date me? That seems like a good account. So this is also, it's quite neat and very novel. I can just switch to different accounts wherever I want, and I'm going to use different signing messages accordingly. I think that's pretty neat. You can do signing with mint.testnet, deadmau.testnet, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. I'm going to, let's do a new store. I'm going to call this, what do we call it? Pop. Okay, Pop. So I'm gonna deploy a store called Pop that's available. There's only a certain amount that can, and of course, we're gonna give it a symbol called Pop. We're going to do this. So what's fascinating about running our own indexer is anytime we interact with the chain and we see an update on our interface, that's gone through the whole process of our VM running the indexer, listens to the block, it hits the confirmation, and then our indexer, our GraphQL indexer, then reports the fact that it exists, and then we can go on our merry way. On Ethereum, this is how our system works, and it's painful because in 12 seconds you can get confirmation. It could be 12 days, but that's what's really novel about NEAR. So right now I'm going to seed it with 6.5 NEAR. This is how much NEAR. It's roughly around 4 NEAR to actually reserve space in the chain, and we have a little bit more to add a bunch of different tokens to your paddings. So now I'm hitting send. Okay, so from the time we just look at that, Pop is already there. It's already in our system. So if I go over to here, so if I click again, Pop, you can see Pop now exists. So now I have store. We can go into things. It's an empty array, and then tokens, right? So again, we have store, we have no things, and obviously there's no tokens if there's no things. So what I'm gonna do now is let's go to our deployed store. So here's our deployed store named Pop. If we want to, we can go into the settings. We can go into transactions, and you can actually see your account not found. Please check the account name. All right, well, let's just see if we can even mint a token on Pop. Let's do a quick one. I'm gonna upload a Gato. Okay, so right now we're creating the thing called the Gato. I'm gonna come in, we'll make this a Gato, add some description stuff. Okay, so we're gonna actually do 4 of these. So the thing type is the Gato. We're gonna have 4 individual NFTs that get created from this, and we are going to approve. So anytime you want to interact with the system, I would just suggest, so went through, so here's my item. That's tomfoolery. I'm gonna do a new store and just call this Tom. Yep, there we go. I'm going to deploy a store and just see if the indexer just didn't catch a block for some reason on the Explorer side. Settings, view store, transactions. Well, for some reason, their indexer is not registering our store deployments. That is new, but it exists. Just trust me. We can go into the chain. We have 4 that exist. We can add a couple more. We can hit confirm. And then on our data model, so here we have things. We have thing equals empty array, and now we have this item. So if I come in here and go things and go meta ID, so we do all the transaction layer on NEAR. We do all of the data, like the actual holding of the images, the video, the pictures, the descriptions, a lot of those things, all that gets stored in another blockchain called Arweave. So here we go. We have all these little bits. We can come into the tokens and see who the owner ID is of that token. So we've got date me is the owner of all these different bits. So you can see date me, date me, date me, date me. If I come over here and, there it is, just takes forever. They must be on super crazy slow speed or something. Okay, well, pop's working. I'm gonna work off pop. So you can see we've created store, that's all the bits. So if I come back over to here, you see all my transactions are running. If you guys aren't familiar with the Explorer, it's actually pretty insanely robust. They didn't build it, they built it to really dive into all the different transaction offers. So, okay, so we have WAP mintspace.testnet. So, okay, so we're gonna work off of pop. I'm gonna delete these because I think I'm mixing my names with WAPs and pops. And okay, we're on pop. Okay, just for fun, let's add one more. Let's let's go back here. Okay, so we're in this is your smart contract world. If I go and do a quick transfer and we go into and we say, I don't know, let's go Nate.testnet. So we can also do airdrops. Again, all of these transactions that I'm doing can all be done through, you go to developers, we go into Mintbase.js, you can hop in here. It's pretty good. We're getting over 207 weekly downloads as an average. Sometimes it goes to 1,000, sometimes it goes to 8, really depends on what's happening. But people are using this thing. And we have a little example on how to connect it. You just say, what is the chain, network name, it's testnet or mainnet. You init the wallet using your API key. You can get that API key via the interface. So I'm gonna do a quick little transfer. So let's actually do an airdrop. You can do up to 120 at a time. This is quite useful. I'm gonna just transfer both of these guys. So we're gonna hit transfer. So we're gonna come back into pop and you can now see batch mint has been, wow, it is super slow. They must have it on like, I don't know what's going on, that the Explorer is like super delayed. So I won't, well, by super, I mean like maybe 3 minutes off, but still imagine these things are going to start filling. So we've got batch mint, we've got create store. We can see all the different transactions and what we put into the system, the metadata reference URI, and so on. So if I go into here, so we have store, we have ID, look at this, date me is all of these. But then if I hit this again, you can see I just transferred 2 of them. Now the owner ID is Nate.testnet and this other one. So if you're building your own like redeeming app, let's say, hey, I want to check if this person is the owner of this type of NFT, if they're a VIP seat, you could just go and hit our endpoints and you can do the check, and then you can burn it if you want on your side, which is how we've been doing it. Or you can transfer the NFT, or if you just want to do a sanity check that that person actually owns that. And then you can even check to see when was the last transfer. I think it's like, what is it? I mean, there's just so much information in here. Transfer time, maybe. Forget what it is. Base URI. So we can get the minters. Yeah, it's just endless. And the way the relationships work are fascinating. Okay, so now we know that both of these have been transferred successfully. Cool. So, I mean, that's the main thing is that, I mean, the problem with Mintbase is we've built so much stuff and we've been so engineering focused. Now we're kind of switching into the, how do we articulate all these crazy things that we've built? So definitely getting started into this world of like understanding the store thing token is like a good start. We're starting to build a couple of CLIs that will help you guys mess with stuff. So getting the metadata. I didn't show how that actually works. Okay, so now we have metadata. So we come over here. Let's go here. Now we're gonna grab that arweave.net / and we pop the ID in. And here's where you can actually see the bulking of the metadata. So here we can actually jump into the media. We can see our gato. What's fascinating with this is that I can't change this. You can't change it. It just exists forever without being able to manipulate. So external URL that will get us back into pop.testnet. I will give you a really quick look into the future of Mintbase. So this is the system that we're building now. I'm pretty excited about it. We're componentizing all these different bits. So this will be Mintbase v2 probably in a month and a half. You can see our active stores, our auctions. It's way faster, way cleaner, much more understandable. But the bigger deal is how we're doing this. So if we go into GitHub and we go into, let's say, Mintbase UI, so this will be open source as well. The main goal is to have you guys being able to just npm install auction on your own systems just as easily. So if we go into our modals, our cards, things. So yeah, this is an own independent function that you can be able to import via Mintbase UI eventually. So we think the future isn't everyone going to one single marketplace like OpenSea, but the future is you guys firing up your own marketplaces ridiculously quick and then going from there. All right, and I think that should do that.
Great, thanks, Nate. There's one or two questions that have already been asked in the chat. I can get them for you. The one question was done, does Mintbase have an SDK like Metaplex on Solana, where can you get something similar to Candy Machine to create a custom Mint site?
Yeah, the SDK I guess would be the Mintbase JS. Those are all the anything you do with our transactions, mint, sell, transfer, all those different bits are accessible through that. Yeah, I mean it's Mintbase JS. You guys, we have a mint and a batch mint function. You can mint up to 100, and so we did the dead mouse piece, which was this guy. So let's go back to these people. Let's go into Mintbase. Let's go into dead 5. We were able to mint over 1 million NFT, well, 600 and something thousand NFTs with them. So with Mintbase JS, you can batch mint up to 10 or 15 at a time. You can create an auto loop. That's how we did dead mouse. We were able to just basically mint 150, 150, 150. I think about a day later we magically had 605,000. And then as far as like generative NFTs, if you're a coder, absolutely you can figure out your way. There's how you generate your AI images is that's up to you. We just handle the minting process.
There's another question. Is it possible to use IPFS links instead of RE for media contributions via API?
That's the goal. So we started with IPFS back in the day. The reason I shied away from it is because IPFS was just a massive pain in the butt. And there was no real decentralized way of keeping your files up without having to either have Mintbase pin them or to have another company like, well, what's the Pinata pin it, which in my opinion is almost the same as just using Google S3 buckets. You're relying on a company to keep your stuff up. With Arweave, you're able to literally pay into the system on the upload. It goes into an endowment mechanism where these machines are incentivized to store these things for, they say, up to 100 and 200 years or something. So it wasn't until I think Filecoin has now come up with something similar, which we'll take a look at. But yeah, the future for us is, we don't want you guys to depend on us, which a lot of these like unlock files, like if you're starting to do that in reality, you're having to probably depend on the company to do those. So we shied away from the whole, hey, I have this NFT, you can see X, Y, and Z, because we're kind of the core technology that enables people to figure out what X, Y, and Z is. IPFS, we'll start peeking our head around it, but the goal is definitely, you guys are smart enough to figure out which decentralized storage you want to use, and our goal is to build tools to make it easy for you guys to do that. But also we're a team of 4 developers, so we're you can't build Rome in a day with 4 developers.
And then you describe the history of firsts. Is that documented anywhere in an article or interview? Someone asked.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's everywhere. Yep. Do your research. Yeah, I just looked through our Twitter history is probably the best. Just go to Mintbase and cruise all the way down to the bottom, and yeah.
So I just say what it is?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
It was the cost of deploying a store to mainnet. I think you alluded to about $50 nowadays. Is that about right? Set up a store.
I haven't checked in a bit. It could be anywhere from 50 to 80, maybe 100 on its. I mean, literally the price goes up and down of NEAR. So I would say at a high ceiling 100, and my gut says it's probably around 50. Wait, it's 6.5 NEAR. So right now it's 10. So $65. Hey, math.
Okay.
And
sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's great. And just I asked the question about the IPFS links. Just to clarify, so at the moment you can't use you have to use Arweave, but you're thinking about adding the ability to be flexible and use IPFS link or Filecoin. So at this moment you can't use Filecoin.
You technically can. I think we're already indexing some of the misfits and some other groups outside of our contract ecosystem that uses IPFS. It's possible it's not super safe. That's my gut. So when you using Mintbase.js, you're actually loading your files to a cloud function that we have that does all the Arweave saving for you. So that's what that does, and we're eating that cost. Yep.
Okay,
but right
thanks.
Now, yeah, I mean, literally, if you use like the NEAR CLI to mint a token, I don't think we have any ability to fight that. But how we render it, that's another question.
Okay, lovely. We're going to call it there. Nate, thank you so much for coming. That was really insightful. We really appreciate it. So feel free to log out. And yeah, to everyone else, thank you so much for coming to the event. I know it's 2 events in a row. Yeah, I think it's been a really good day. 1 or 2 other sponsors might be hosting technical workshops, but just everyone's kind of at ETH Denver at the moment. So not really, it's not really a priority at the moment, but hopefully next week we'll have hopefully Ref Finance, and potentially Octopus Network and Flux. Unfortunately, I know everybody wanted Aurora to come, but they're not going to come, which is really disappointing. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks, guys.